In October of 2005, a private citizen who happened to be running for governor came out in favor of the Cape Wind project. That is Governor Deval Patrick. He had a vision for the clean energy future of Massachusetts at a time when many, many people were not only doubting climate change at all, but had no idea that we could grow an industry, grow jobs, protect the environment, and make Massachusetts a leader in all clean energy technology, and certainly in offshore wind. For 9 years, Governor Patrick has remained committed every step of the way to that clean energy future that will bring jobs, economic development, and a protection of the environment unheard of across the nation. It is my honor, my true honor, to introduce my boss. How proud I am to say that, Governor Deval Patrick.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Secretary Bartlett, and it's I who am proud to work with you and with my colleagues here, both in the administration and in the Congress and in the legislature. I want to welcome everyone today to today's announcement. As the Secretary said, for nearly 8 years, indeed for 8 years, we've made it a priority to support investments in education, in innovation, and in infrastructure. And infrastructure investments like this one are the foundation of our growing economy and the clean energy sector that is helping to lead that growth, growing itself some in double digits over each of the last couple of years. The Massachusetts clean energy industry is made up of some 80,000 workers working in over 5,000 firms. We've been ranked first in the nation in energy efficiency each of the last few years. Our original 3 megawatts of solar and wind generation have exploded really over the last several years through the help of incentives that the legislature has helped us put in place. We're now nearly 500 megawatts of solar, coming up on 200 megawatts of wind. These results are due to a thoughtful, consistent set of policies about expanding markets and positioning Massachusetts as a leader in clean energy, creating jobs, securing our energy future, reducing costs. In that spirit, I'm delighted to announce that Cape Wind has signed a lease with the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center to use the Marine Commerce Terminal in New Bedford for the staging, assembly, and construction of the Cape Wind project. Cape Wind is not just going to serve Massachusetts, it's going to be built in Massachusetts, and we're very excited about that. That means and by the way, that means 400 jobs for New Bedford. I want to acknowledge, as the Secretary did, the exceptionally hard work of Alicia Barton, of Bill White, and their team at the Clean Energy Center, including their board of directors, for making sure that the terminal project is constructed on time, and for securing this historic agreement, which we'll hear a little bit more about from Jim Gordon in just a minute. This announcement is another in a series of significant milestones for the Cape Wind project, which is now scheduled to be the terminal's first customer, but not its last. On every level, Massachusetts intends to become the hub of the offshore wind industry, emerging along the east coast of the United States. Offshore wind projects like Cape Wind have the potential to deliver an enormous new source of clean, reliable energy, Massachusetts-made energy, to the people of the Commonwealth at a time when we face an estimated 8,300 megawatts of coal and other power plant retirements. The world is changing. There is no doubt about that, and we need offshore wind now more than ever. We're working to secure our environmental future. At the same time, we're working to secure our economic future. The U.S. Department of Energy projects the new offshore wind industry will bring 43,000 jobs to the United States by 2030, and the Cape Wind project will create hundreds of jobs during construction, installation, and operation of its offshore wind development. Today, is a significant step toward positioning this Commonwealth as a first-in-the-nation hub for this flourishing new industry, and you know how much I like being first. Cape Wind will bring new jobs and a clean source of Massachusetts-made energy for future generations. Very, very exciting development. And with that, I want to invite to the podium Cape Wind President Jim Gordon, who has redefined the word persistence. 14 years, I think it's been, since this project was first launched, and it's getting very, very close to being a reality, and that is a good thing for all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Gordon. Thank you, Jim.
First of all, I'd like to thank Governor Patrick for his vision and leadership in making Massachusetts a leader in clean energy, energy efficiency, and now the offshore wind industry. By building the first facility in North America specifically designed for the staging and assembly of offshore wind turbines in New Bedford, his administration and Mayor Mitchell's administration has ensured that Massachusetts will be an important hub for American offshore wind projects for decades to come, which will mean thousands of good jobs and a significant new source of clean energy. Since Governor Patrick's first announcement in 2010, Cape Wind has supported the Commonwealth of Massachusetts' efforts to construct the Massachusetts Marine Commerce Terminal in New Bedford, with the idea that if built, the terminal could serve as a staging area for the Cape Wind project. The uncertainty has always been whether the terminal would be ready and available to meet Cape Wind's construction schedule. For this reason, we have repeatedly informed the federal agencies with oversight for the Cape Wind project that if the New Bedford facility were to be completed on time to meet Cape Wind's requirements and construction schedule, Cape Wind would at that time make the appropriate regulatory filings and seek any necessary approvals to use New Bedford. I am pleased to announce today that Cape Wind intends to file this Tuesday with the Bureau of Ocean Management a modification to its construction and operation plan to seek BOEM's authorization to use the Massachusetts Marine Commerce Terminal in New Bedford as a staging area. Following BOEM's review and approval of the request, Cape Wind will enthusiastically advance its plans and use New Bedford as a staging area. I am also pleased to announce that Cape Wind and the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center have signed a lease for Cape Wind to become the first of many tenants of the Massachusetts Marine Commerce Terminal in New Bedford. And I would be remiss not to thank Congressman Bill Keating and the congressional delegation of Massachusetts for their help in working with Governor Patrick and Mayor Mitchell in making sure that Cape Wind is moving forward. Today is really about what type of future we want to leave our children, how we want to preserve the environment and create energy security and jobs for Massachusetts. And I'm proud to be a citizen of Massachusetts and also pleased to have worked so hard to fulfill Governor Patrick's vision of making Massachusetts one of the world-class hubs of clean energy. Thank you.
You know, we have discussions with other members of Congress from time to time about different bragging rights. We brag about the Patriots, or we brag about the Bruins or the Red Sox. We will be bragging, I hope, about the Celtics. And there's that kind of discussion that goes back and forth in a good-natured sense. But I've been at the heat of a tough argument with California, and their members keep saying they're the leaders in clean energy and moving that economy forward. And I make the argument, no, we're way ahead of you. Well, Governor, we just clinched the deal today. We have those bragging rights because we're number one in the entire country in this new industry. And it happened because of a partnership that we should have more of in this country. A person with private vision in Jim Gordon and determination. A governor with a foresight to see where the future is going and where he wants to position his state, and a legislature that works with him in supporting that. And the CEC here administrating those things and bringing them to a reality. I can't tell you that I can't sit at this moment and stop and ponder one thing. I like to look back at our history. And I look back at our history and I know that the greatest industry initially in our country, the industry that brought us wealth and success, came from the ocean and came from the wind. As those sailors came over, powered by the wind, braved the ocean, and put together one of our most successful energy sources at the time, whale oil. And the hub of that was New Bedford. And the hub of the new industry that's going to take us forward, harnessing the ocean, harnessing the wind, is going to be New Bedford, Massachusetts once again. And we're proud of that. It shows how history can repeat itself and how, with vision, we can move forward. And this is, I can't sit here and tell you that I'm so happy that this is also going to produce jobs. It's going to produce good jobs for our people. It's going to produce great jobs for the New Bedford region. And it's going to be a catalyst to future investment and future jobs. Because we have, unusually so, the geographic good fortune of being in a place where we can harness enough energy to create the entire energy to service half the state of Massachusetts, if necessary. So it's a happy day. It's a proud day. It's proud to be representing New Bedford and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And you can be sure I'm going to take that message back, and we're going to let the rest of the country know about what we're doing here.
Thank you very much. My name is Mark Pacheco, and I am proud to be serving as the Senate Chair of the Environment, Natural Resources, and Agriculture Committee here in Massachusetts and the Senate Chair of the Global Warming and Climate Change Committee. When I think of the work that the Patrick administration, working with the legislature, has done over the last several years to take on what I believe is one of the most important issues. Actually, I believe it's the most important issue that we need to deal with in our world today is climate change. And when we look at what is happening and how climate change is not just an environmental issue, it is an economic issue, a national security issue, a public health issue. It cuts across all of these issues. And that's why I believe it's so important. And we see the progress that we've made as a state is just unbelievable, as the Congressman said, when we look at what's happening in California, and they're doing a great job. But we are doing better here in Massachusetts because we have a team of people in the executive branch, the legislative branch, the private sector that have come together to develop a plan to embrace a clean energy future here in Massachusetts. And so I'm so excited about today's announcement, not only from a statewide perspective with my responsibility, but as somebody who was born and brought up in southeastern Massachusetts, lives not too far away from my colleagues in New Bedford, Dartmouth area. And we know of the tremendous problems we have had in terms of economic development and job creation in a region of the state. It is amazing that this clean energy sector has taken southeastern Massachusetts and put it on the map as one of the fastest growing areas in the state with clean energy jobs, and that was before this announcement. After this announcement, it's going to blow those numbers away. So I want to thank Cape Wind, Jim Gordon, for your vision, for your commitment, as the governor said, for your persistence over the years. And that's what happens when you're a pioneer. You know, all the rules aren't set out. So here they are, they're being developed. And we together will see all kinds of jobs created in southeastern Massachusetts. As a result of this, it will help our economy here in Massachusetts and add to those 80,000 private sector jobs that are already here and those 5,557 companies in the clean energy sector that are already here. I want to thank you very much for making this announcement, choosing southeastern Massachusetts, choosing to stay here and do business in Massachusetts. Thank you.